Hey, I'm Brienne, and after a long period of changing this, I finally have a new desk setup for you. This is the clean, ultra-wide USB-C dock setup. Just like last time, let's start with the monitor. Yes, this time just one, but it's probably still the most important thing. This is the BenQ EX3501R ultra-wide monitor. It's a 35-inch curved display with a resolution of 3440 by 1440. It also supports HDR and 100% of the sRGB color space, making it great for movie watching or video editing. The 21:9 form factor especially helps with seeing more of the timeline. Below the display is this glass piece with sensors to adjust brightness and color temperature according to the lighting conditions to reduce eye fatigue. Basically like Apple's True Tone, but on your monitor. It also has a 100Hz refresh rate with FreeSync support, but that is probably more interesting if you were to connect it to a gaming PC with an AMD GPU. The monitor is mounted on the same LaVolta dual monitor arm from last time. Yes, it can actually hold this 10kg behemoth, but I obviously removed an arm from it and moved it off to the side so the monitor can remain relatively flat against the wall. And I do quite like this off-centered look. To mount the display on said arm, you will need to obtain BenQ's VESA wall mount kit that adds about an extra $40 to the cost of the monitor. It does its job well though at steadily supporting the monitor and enabling it to be more adjustable, since especially the height adjustment is missing from the stock stand. Speaking of stands, the laptop sits in a vertical aluminium stand by Hitachi. It's fairly well built, though I wish there was less wobble when there's no laptop in it. The space gray unfortunately doesn't fit the laptop, even though it still looks pretty good. If you want to know why that is, check out the video in the cards right now. But it is also available in black and silver, which would have been a better fit. The laptop is the Lenovo Yoga 720 with a Core i5 CPU, 8GB of RAM and an NVMe SSD. But you should probably go with the 730 if you were to pick one up now, as that one has the new 8th gen CPUs. It's a nice compact and well-built 2-in-1 that comes with the USB-A that conveniently faces you here for quick access, but most importantly for this setup are the two Thunderbolt 3 ports. One of these connects the laptop to the monitor through one single cable that handles the high-resolution display output, power for the laptop, as well as access to two more USB 3 ports on the monitor itself that you could plug external storage into, for example. So you can use your 2-in-1 on the go, even in tablet mode, and when you come home you just have to plug in one cable to turn it into a desktop setup. You could also use those two USB 3 ports on the monitor for permanently attaching peripherals, of course, but because we are already in the process of reducing cables, we're going Bluetooth for this setup. The keyboard I chose is the Logitech K380. It's very compact and the round chiclet style keys are pretty good to type on, even if it will take some time to get used to. It's Bluetooth, so there's no extra dongle, and it's also very cheap at around $30/euros. But most importantly for this setup, you may have already noticed the theme, is the blue color. To go along with the keyboard, I went with the color matching M535 Bluetooth mouse that is similarly affordable and tracks pretty well, even without mousepad that I left out again for a cleaner look. We have two more blue items on the table, a Surface Pen, since if you take the laptop out of the stand, you can use that to draw on the screen, and the headphones for some better audio. These are the JBL Everest 300s again, as I do have them in blue to match, but they're also wireless with an ultra long battery life, which is nice. Oh, and of course they sound pretty good too. Let's move on to the more decorative items. As the last item on the table, we have a OnePlus VR headset that I use as a tray for the color-coordinated DJI candy that probably no one should eat anymore at this point. It's just normal Haribo, so it's more special as an unopened prop anyway. That leaves us with the two shelves above that contain a blue pot with a fake plant, never omit one of those, and some other random decorative things like a Rubik's Cube and a Space Invaders cartridge. I didn't add any lighting this time, as there's just no space left on the table with this huge screen, and I wanted to keep it clutter-free. Speaking of clutter-free, as there are only two cables in this whole setup, the USB-C cable and power to the monitor, Clean cable management is basically a non-issue. I only needed one cable tie. Since there's just one cable going down from the desk, this would have been also a perfect setup to put on a standing desk, even though I unfortunately don't have one. This desk is just an old IKEA desk. It might be important that the tabletop thus still is solid wood though, as the heavy monitor does put quite some strain on it that would probably tear something like a Linmon apart. So since this setup is very clean and simple, this was already everything that went into it. As always, if you want to pick up anything mentioned in this video, except for some of the decorative things you can't buy, I will have links in the video description. Thanks to BenQ for giving me the monitor along with the mount to center this setup around, and thank you for watching. You know which buttons to press, and don't forget to also press that follow button on Twitter. I'm Brian, and I'll see you in the next one.